How do IHL and human rights law differ? Imagine a world where laws protect people in different ways depending on whether there's peace or war. That's what we see with international humanitarian law and human rights law. Both are about safeguarding human dignity, but they work in very different settings. Understanding these differences helps us see how civilians are protected during conflicts and peace. International humanitarian law, also called the laws of war or armed conflict, is designed specifically for times of war. It sets rules to limit the damage caused by fighting. Its main goal is to protect those who are not fighting, like civilians, wounded soldiers, and prisoners of war. It also controls how wars are fought, including restrictions on weapons and methods of warfare. The Geneva Conventions and their additional protocols are the key treaties that make up this body of law. Human rights law applies all the time, whether there is peace or war. It protects basic rights like the right to life, freedom from torture, free speech, and fair trials. These rights are universal and apply to everyone, everywhere. Human rights law is mainly aimed at governments, making sure they respect and protect these rights at all times. Some rights can be temporarily limited during emergencies, but core rights like protection from torture can never be taken away. There is some overlap between the two. For example, both laws prohibit torture and slavery, but they focus on different issues. International humanitarian law deals with the rules of war, like how prisoners are treated or what weapons are allowed. Human rights law covers everyday rights like voting or freedom of the press. When both laws apply during a conflict, the more specific one usually takes priority. This is called lex specialis. For example, during war, a civilian can be detained for security reasons without being charged immediately, which would not be allowed in peacetime under human rights law. If international humanitarian law does not address a situation, human rights law can fill the gap. Enforcement also differs. Human rights law has mechanisms where individuals can complain about violations and seek remedies. It often involves international bodies like the United Nations. International humanitarian law relies more on international criminal courts to prosecute war crimes. It also protects objects and the environment, which human rights law generally does not cover. In short, international humanitarian law is tailored for times of armed conflict, providing detailed rules to limit suffering. Human rights law is about protecting fundamental freedoms at all times. Both are essential for safeguarding human dignity, but they operate in different ways and contexts. Knowing these differences helps us understand how civilians and others are protected during war and peace.